Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're tackling something absolutely core for anyone in the European pharma space.
We are. We're getting into the Certificate of Suitability, the CEP, issued by the EDQM.
Right, the European Directorate for the Quality of Medicines and Healthcare. And this CEP, it's essentially the quality passport for substances, APIs mainly, right?
Exactly. It certifies that a substance meets the quality standards set out in the European Pharmacopoeia monographs. It's the key to the gate for the EU market.
And the cool thing is, our source material isn't just some summary. It's direct from the Certification of Substances Department, October 2025.
Yeah, it's their official blueprint, the actual stepwise process they follow. So this is straight from the horse's mouth, so to speak.
Okay, let's unpack this.
So this whole process, it's not just for brand new substances, it actually covers quite a bit.
Like what specifically?
Well, you've got your new applications, obviously, then sister files, which are related. Standard revisions, think manufacturing changes. Then renewals for existing CEPs, faster notifications for minor changes, and, importantly, transfers of holdership. You know, when a company sells a product line,
That's a lot of different application types. Do they all follow the exact same path? The sources mentioned timelines vary, working days, calendar days.
the timelines do differ, yeah, but the core steps, the fundamental sequence for the big ones, new, sister files, revisions, renewals, it's largely the same.
Okay, so what's that core sequence?
It boils down to 4 key phases, and sometimes they repeat within a procedure. Submission, validation, assessment, or they call it treatment sometimes, and then finally, the decision.
Right. Let's start at the beginning then. Submission. Step one. Seems easy enough, just sending the file in.
You'd think so, but the sources really emphasize getting it right from the start. Compliance is key, right out of the gate,
Meaning,
meaning the applicant has to make sure the content meets all the technical and regulatory specs from EDQM. And crucially, it has to be submitted electronically in a very specific format following their guidance.
and if it's not, if the format's off.
They stop right there. Which brings us neatly to step 2, validation.
The gatekeeper step, you called it.
Definitely the gatekeeper. And they use a 2-layered approach here. Seems like it's for efficiency.
Okay, layer one.
Format validation.
Mm.
Is the e-submission okay? Is it corrupted? Missing metadata? Does it follow the rules? It's not?
Blocked.
Blocked. Simple as that. The applicant gets told, fix the format, resubmit. You don't pass go.
Okay, makes sense. And if the format is okay?
Then they look at content validation.
Yeah.
Basically, is there enough information here to even start a proper technical review?
So this isn't about quality issues yet, just is the application complete enough to assess?
Exactly. If they need more data just to get started, maybe some missing baseline info, it's blocked again.
Blocked until the applicant provides that missing piece.
Right. It's like hitting pause, and it's a pause button applicants really want to avoid. They're pushing incomplete files back, not letting them clog up the assessment queue.
Efficient for them, maybe stressful for the applicant. But you mentioned another check specifically for new applications.
Ah, yes. The scope check. This happens during validation too, but only for new files.
And what are they checking?
Compliance with a specific rule, Resolution APCSP 071. It defines what kinds of substances and procedures are actually suitable for the CEP pathway.
So if a company tries to submit something that doesn't quite fit, maybe it's borderline or just the wrong type of product for a CEP.
They get rejected, flat out, at the validation stage.
Wow, so it doesn't even get looked at technically?
Nope. The EDQM is saying, wrong track. This doesn't belong here. It's a hard stop.
Okay, that's a clear boundary, which makes me think about the money involved. When does the company actually have to pay the fee?
Good question. The official clock, the timeline, it starts only after the file passes that initial validation, both format and content. That's when they send the acknowledgement of receipt.
And the fee?
The fee has to be paid right after that validation success. But this is really crucial.
What is it?
The sources are crystal clear. You pay the fee irrespective of the future outcome.
Wait, say that again? Irrespective. So even if the application fails later, maybe during assessment, or gets rejected after an RFI, you still pay.
You still pay. The fee is gone. You're paying for the assessment process itself, not for a guaranteed positive result.
That really raises the stakes for that initial submission, doesn't it? You better be sure your dossier is solid before you hit submit.
Absolutely. That financial commitment, win or lose, forces a high degree of preparation. Okay, so assuming validation is passed, the fee is paid. What happens in step 3? Assessment.
The heavy lifting part.
Exactly. This is where the EDQM assessors dig deep into the quality dossier. They're checking compliance against 2 big areas.
Which are?
First, the relevant European pharmacopoeia monographs, both the specific one for the substance and any general ones that apply.
Okay. And second,
Second, all the current regulatory requirements. Think EDQM's own guidelines, EMA guidance, ICH guidelines, the whole landscape.
so it's not just meeting the minimum monograph spec, it's about being up to date with everything.
Precisely. They want to see alignment with current standards and best practices globally. It's a thorough review.
Right. And after all that checking, we get to step 4, communication of the decision. What are the possible outcomes?
Well, the best case is obvious. Certificate granted for new files, or revised or renewed for the others, it stays valid.
And if there are issues,
Then the applicant gets a request for information, an RFI. And getting an RFI basically kicks you back in the process flow.
back to submission.
Sort of.
Yeah.
You submit the response, there's a validation of that response,
Right.
assessment of the new info, and then a new decision. The cycle repeats.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Because the sources say there isn't just one kind of RFI, right? There are different types.
That's correct. 3 types, really signaling the severity or type of issue found.
Okay, what are they?
You've got a request for additional information.
Yeah.
That's usually for major issues needing significant new data, maybe even new studies.
Right, the serious stuff.
Then there's this request for clarification. More for minor points, ambiguities, things that need clearing up, but probably not new experiments. And sometimes it's just a request for dossier update. This might be about standardizing documents or formatting. Usually it doesn't need more technical assessment to close the loop.
But the crucial part, the really tough rule the sources highlight, is the limit on these requests.
The 2-strike rule.
Yes.
This is a big one.
Tell us about it.
The EDQM states very clearly for efficiency, there's a maximum of 2 requests for information allowed in any single CEP procedure. 2 rounds, that's it.
2 rounds. So if your response to the second RFI isn't good enough,
The procedure ends, finito, no third chances, the file is closed or rejected.
that is incredibly strict. It basically forces companies to treat that first RFI response as if it's their only shot. Make it perfect, make it comprehensive.
Exactly. Address everything, anticipate follow-up questions. The pressure is immense.
Right.
And adding to that pressure are the timelines for responding.
Right, you mentioned specialized timelines. Annex 4 in the source, I think.
Yes. And they are tight, especially for certain data types. Look at toxicological or TSE data requests.
How long do you get for those?
If it's a request for additional information on toxics or TSE, you get just 46 working days.
46 working days, that's roughly 9 weeks, right? Calendar time.
About that, yeah. 9 weeks to generate or compile potentially complex safety data. It's demanding. A very little buffer.
And it varies for other data, like sterile data.
It does. For sterile data, if it's a complex RFI needing additional info, you might get 69 working days.
Okay, longer, about 14 weeks.
But if it's just a clarification or dossier update request for sterile data, only 23 working days.
Wow, that's a huge difference. Less than 5 weeks for the simpler requests.
It reflects the potential complexity. Generating new sterile validation data takes time. But the point is, these deadlines are fixed and require serious internal readiness. No time for delays.
Okay, so that's the main path. But there's this other route, the fast track for notifications and transfers. Seems quicker, but riskier.
Definitely quicker upfront, but yes, carries a significant risk. The flow is simpler. Submission, validation, treatment, decision. It's detailed in Annex V.
Where's the main difference?
It's in that validation step. For notifications and transfers, they only check the format initially, just a quick check.
And then,
The clock for the treatment phase starts immediately after that format check, and the fee is paid then too. They skip that deeper content validation you see in the main process.
so it gets moving faster. Do they send an acknowledgement?
No, interestingly, the EDQM doesn't issue an acknowledgement of receipt for these, so less paperwork, but the clock is ticking from that format validation.
And during treatment, what are they checking?
Compliance with the specific acceptance criteria for transfers or notifications. The rules for what actually qualifies for this faster pathway. That's in reference 3 in the source.
Okay, so less checking up front. But what's the big risk you mentioned if they find a problem during treatment?
Here's the downside. If they decide, nope, this change was too complex for a notification or this transfer doesn't meet the criteria, it's rejected.
And can the applicant argue, provide more info?
No. The rejection is final for that notification or transfer procedure. No chance to submit additional data.
And the fee?
Forfeit. Gone.
Ouch.
And if the company still needs that change approved, they have to start all over again. resubmit as a full revision application, pay a new fee, and go through the whole multi-step two-strike process we just discussed.
That's a hefty penalty. It really discourages trying to sneak major changes through the notification route. It enforces using the right pathway.
Absolutely. It protects the integrity of the different procedures.
Hmm.
Which brings us back to deadlines and consequences across the board.
The sources are pretty blunt about deadlines, aren't they?
Extremely blunt. The deadline for responding to an RFI is set, it's communicated clearly, and, quote, no extension is granted, full stop.
They really mean it. Regulatory hardball.
It's about keeping the system moving, managing their workload, predictability.
And if you miss that non-negotiable deadline, or your response just isn't good enough.
For new files or sister files, the file is simply closed. For revisions, it's rejected.
And the fee in those cases.
Forfeit. Again, anytime a file closes or gets rejected because the applicant didn't meet the requirements of the deadline, the money is lost. You start over from scratch if you want to proceed.
It's clear this isn't just about paperwork. There's a strong link to the actual manufacturing site quality, the GMP aspect.
Oh, fundamentally. The EDQM inspection program isn't separate. The sources state it's an integral part of the certification procedure.
How does that integration work?
The inspections check compliance with good manufacturing practice, EU GMP standards, and they verify that what's happening on site matches what's written in the CEP application dossier. They link the paper to the practice.
And these inspections are risk-based, following EU guidelines.
Yes, they target inspections based on risk assessment. But the key point is the consequence of a negative inspection outcome.
What happens then?
It's serious. If an inspection finds significant non-compliance, actions like suspension of the CEP, withdrawal, or even closure of pending applications can be taken.
Against just the one file being inspected.
No, against all CEPs and applications that reference that specific non-compliant site.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how far along assessment is for other files linked to that site. Bad GMP trumps everything.
That's a massive ripple effect. One site failing inspection could halt multiple products or applications.
Exactly. It underscores the need for consistent site compliance.
Yeah.
Now, what if you try to add a site to an application that already has known GMP issues?
Can you even do that?
If you try, the procedure for that application goes on hold immediately.
On hold, like frozen.
Frozen. Stays that way until a pre-approval inspection happens and confirms the site now meets EU GMP standards.
And while it's on hold, what about those strict timelines we discussed, the 46 days, 69 days?
They stop. The standard timelines are not applicable during this GMP-related hold. The clock is completely paused.
Indefinitely, until the site is cleared.
Pretty much. The application sits in limbo, waiting for GMP resolution. The potential commercial delay from an indefinite hold is enormous. It really highlights the power of the inspection arm.
So what does this all mean when you put all these pieces together?
It means navigating the EDQM's CE pre-process is, well, it's demanding. It's a system built on precision, strict timelines, and no second chances on some critical aspects.
What are the absolute key takeaways for a manufacturer?
I'd say 3 things jump out from the sources. 1, that hard limit of 2 RFIs. It forces near perfection from the start. 2, the fee forfeiture.
Yeah.
Failure costs real money immediately, reinforcing the need for quality submissions.
And the third?
The constant overarching shadow of GMP compliance. Site issues can stop everything, anytime, regardless of the dossier status. The inspection link is absolute.
It's a system designed for quality and efficiency, but it demands a lot from applicants, which leads to a final thought. Given those incredibly tight, non-extendable deadlines, especially for complex data like to Fox or sterile info, 46 working days here, 69 there, what does that imply about how manufacturers need to operate? What level of constant readiness, of preemptive quality work is needed just to function within these timelines, let alone get ahead?